that's why we record. So I'm going to start recording. And for those of you guys that I don't know, my name is Kimberly Wilcox, and I've been coaching for just over 3 years. So I've been with Beachbody for about 3.5 years. I was a customer for about 6 months. I plugged into Dani Johnson on my birthday 2 years ago, which was May 3rd, was my first Dani Johnson in Baltimore, and I had been to 6 First Steps to Success in the last 2 years, and then I just got back from my very first Dynasty this past weekend. And I have to tell you guys, it really exceeded my expectations. Having gone to 6 First Steps and really feeling like I was ready for it. Keep in mind, I was sitting next to, one of my wonderful friends and coaches, Blaine, who had just been to her very first Steps and dove right into Dynasty, and she was ready. I just wasn't 2 years ago. So I think you'll know when you're ready kind of for the next step. And I was like, what else could she possibly teach me? I'm having a hard time implementing everything I've learned in 2 years, but she didn't disappoint. It was 3 packed days of awesome information, and it'll take me a good while to go through it all, but I tried to kind of highlight what I wanted to talk about with you guys today. So one of the very first things that she did talk about that I'm going to share with you guys today is the different seasons of growth that we all go through. And this is not just with our business. This is, our own personal fitness journeys, our own personal journeys with our families. Of course, it can be related to our Beachbody business and any other business that we're in. But, our family is a business. That's a whole completely different team that some of us lose focus on quite a bit. So I'm going to talk about the seasons of growth to start off. The most important step when talking about the seasons of growth is recognizing which season that you're in, what season you're going through, what's coming next, what to prepare for, and it's always changing. So I think sometimes we get caught up thinking, okay, I'm in a preparation season, or I'm in a planning season, which I'll talk about, but we're really in a protection season, or vice versa. So I'll dive right in and say that there's the first season. There's 4 seasons, conveniently. One is the preparation season. In the preparation season, everything is dead. You're working hard and nothing is happening. I think this is easy especially to relate with your new coaches, because they come in and it's a brand new business. Everything is dead. They're working with, brand new soil. They're pulling out like old roots, and they're trying to build trust with people. They're trying to, I like to say build trust rather than convince, but convince people that this is something they're going to stick with, they're going to be with for a while. And that takes a while. So what you see during the preparation season is you're working so hard and nothing is happening. And you'll see this a lot, not just with new coaches, guys. You have to remember you're going to continuously go through this season. So maybe it's a time where, I see Blaine's face. So Blaine will talk about, I don't know who to invite. I legit don't know who to invite. I'm out of people. So she is starting a new preparation season of joining groups, making new contacts, adding them to her list. So sometimes we can be doing multiple things. Another thing that to relate to your challengers is the first weeks of a program, the first days of a program. They just drank all this water. They did their workout every day. They drank their silly shake. They did all these things. This is what's going on in their head. And they got on the scale and nothing happened. Or they even gained 2 pounds. Because what they're in is the preparation season. They are preparing their body for all the good things that are going to happen. But their body is like, what are you doing to me? We haven't worked out in years. Why are we working out every day? We don't drink water like this. Maybe, I should protect myself and hold on to every single ounce. It's not used to what's happening. Drinking Shakeology, when someone's not used to drinking that many vegetables or fiber or all the other things in it, people's bodies react very differently. And they think, oh, I have gas. I shouldn't do this. Their body's in a preparation season for all the things that are to come. So that's season number 1. Season number 2 is the planting season. You cannot plant without preparation. If you did not do step number 1, as far as adding new friends to your friends list and starting a conversation with them, you can't then you can't plant. You can't invite who you haven't become friends with, right? So you can't plant without preparation. You still see nothing during the planting season. So this requires a lot of faith. This is knowing that what the end result is of the game. This is knowing, hey, I'm not seeing a lot of results my first 21-day fix or my first 2 weeks in the program. I mean, no lie, I just connected with a new person on Facebook who told me she wanted to lose 80 pounds by August. Okay. I obviously didn't say that that was possible, but I'm also not going to crush her and be like, I can't work with you. I just have to sandwich it in a different way where I'm like, I would love to help you be well on your way to your 80-pound goal, but we're just going to have to start with 5 to 10 pounds at a time, because I know this. She doesn't know, but she's going to have to go through a preparation with her body. She's going to have to start planning it with good things and good habits and with discipline. She's going to have to start planting discipline in her life to get to that 80-point mark. So this requires a lot of faith, which is hard for coaches and challengers, knowing that the end result is coming, but there's no proof. There's no proof for a while. You know, we cannot get into this business, guys, and be expected to be, you know, 1-star, 2-star, diamond, 1-star, 2-star, 5-star, 15-star in 6 months or a year. You know, this takes a lot of different seasons of your business. There's no proof of any fruit. Things still look dead. Looks like nothing's happened. The farmer just went out there and planted everything. Nothing's going on. All you're doing is planting seeds, but you know that you've done the proper preparation for the planting to work. So you can't make a good point she made on this is you can't make the seed grow any faster. And I think all of us get wrapped up in this. You can't make it grow faster. I love the analogy that Dani used in talking about GMOs. I thought this was genius. She said, GMOs is a way for the government or food industry, whatever, to speed up, and it's speed over accuracy, and what that is greed. And she said it many times. She was like, speed and greed, big X on it, don't do it. Like, if you are going to move so fast, you start to not care about people or your body. You know, I constantly relate things to challengers versus coaches. Quick fixes, you know, speed and greed. Like, they want to lose 80 pounds by August. It's not happening. That's not the way it works. You cannot make seed grow faster. It has a season of growth. It grows at a certain speed. And when you mess with it, you cause problems and you make it worse, just like the GMO is doing in our community of processed foods and people's bodies. And it's poisoning people's bodies. So still things look dead in the planting season, although you've done all of this work, which can start to get frustrating. So that leads us to season number 3, which is protection. The protection season is a season of protecting. What you feed will flourish, and what you neglect will die. Feeding and flourishing are you following up? Are you sticking with the meal plan, or are you getting a little loosey-goosey? Are you continuing to drink your shake every day, or do you just do it every other day? Are you being encouraging to your current clientele? This is something I wrote out to the side. Are you focused on planting new ones, or are you actually, you know, nurturing the ones that you have and giving them the time and the attention that they deserve? Because current clientele bring you new clientele. Current clientele turn into great coaches. So sometimes we can start to neglect that, always wanting to expose and prospect for the new, which there is a time and place for that. But are you neglecting or giving up on the sprouts that you're starting to see? Because what happens during the protection season of caring for your lot is tiny sprouts that are very, very, very weak start to come up. You have to protect and nourish those sprouts. it's proof of what's to come. It's proof of the harvest to come. You have to feed the sprouts. You have to celebrate the sprouts. And the sprouts live and die with the power of your tongue. This is something we talked a lot about. And what comes out of your mouth happens. If you see these tiny sprouts and you're like, they're never going to turn into a coach, they're never going to lose 80 pounds, they're never going to do this, they're never going to do that, then guess what? They're never going to do it. You have to speak life over these tiny things that are happening in your business every day. Someone selling their first challenge pack, someone sending their first invite, someone posting their first time on Facebook. All of that has to be celebrated. It has to be recognized with the person individually. It has to be recognized on team page. You can shout them out on your own Facebook page. You can send them a special note. That is nourishing and watering a sprout, as opposed to being a coach that says, oh, she got SC2, but she didn't hit SC5 and does nothing. And in your own head, you're like, I have no one hitting Success Club 5. I would rather have every single person on my team hit Success Club 1 than a few hit Success Club 5, because they're all working. What they're all doing is they're planting, they're preparing, they're planting, and I'm going to protect that sprout for them as well. So protection is such an important phase of our business. 98%ers want it overnight. They want it to have grown yesterday. They want to get the soil ready, they want to put the seed in, and they want a stalk of corn the next day. That's what 98%ers want and expect out of this business. And that's why 98% quit, to be honest with you. 2% really do understand the idea of, to get rid of the idea of instant gratification. And lots of speakers talk about this. John Maxwell is a great example of someone who talks about this a lot. And anyone who's successful just cannot be in the instant gratification mindset. One of the stories she told during the weekend was talking about the company Apple, the Apple company, and how big they are now, how powerful they are, what a wonderful brand they are, what they've produced. But for 25 years, no one knew who Apple was. No one. You can go back and look at when they started to when they became popular, or when the iPad came out, or all the changes they've had the last, just 15 years. But for years and years and years, no one knew who Apple was. They're not an overnight success. They're someone that protected their brand. They kept planning, they kept producing, and now we all know who Apple is. Same story with Starbucks. 25 years. In 25 years, they had 100 stores. Now you can't drive down the street and not see 20. They're everywhere. They're on every corner. But for 25 years, they only had 100 stores. So again, they didn't get stuck in that instant gratification. Many companies do. They quit. They leave. They don't make it. So the last stage is the producing fruit and picking it. So the last season is producing fruit and picking it. It's the harvest. It's what you've been working for so hard. Everything is working. Everything's falling into place. You plant seed, you reap your harvest. And then she said this, side note, you reap your harvest, good, bad, or indifferent. There are good harvests, there are bad harvests, and indifferent harvests. And what does that mean? What have you been planting? When you were in the planting phase, are you planting negligence? Are you planting fear? Are you planting gossip? Are you planting laziness? You can plant bad seed just like you can plant good seed. If you are planting all of those things in your team, when you come to harvest, it's not going to be any good. Yeah, you're going to have a season of plenty. You're going to have a season of plenty of crap coming your way is what you're going to have, because that's what you planted. You planted gossip in your team. You planted negativity in your team. You planted laziness with your challengers. So you aren't going to get the harvest that you're looking for. You're not going to be satisfied with what comes up for you. But that's still a season. You're still in your harvest season. You just didn't plant the right thing. So are you planting good seed or bad seed? When the harvest comes, it comes in a flood. And what you're getting right now, what in your harvest season, not that it's right now, but when it comes, what you're getting has nothing to do with what you did with your business yesterday. It has nothing to do with what you did with your business probably last week or last month. It comes from what you did long, long ago in the preparation season. It comes from what you did in the planting season. It comes from what you did in the protection season. So this happens a lot in weight loss too, certainly with me, where and I've had a challenger just tell me this recently, where when they work so hard and they do everything right, they don't see it on the scale. But when they are loosey-goosey, they skip workouts, they drink wine, they lose 2 pounds. And they think that they can keep doing that to produce that harvest. And it's not true. Otherwise, they wouldn't need me. They wouldn't need a coach, because they've been doing this their whole life. They're in a negative pattern, which I totally relate with and understand. But I got off on a sidetrack there. Sorry. But what you're getting right now is not from what you did yesterday. So those 2 pounds on a scale on Monday aren't because you drank wine this weekend. It's probably from the hard work you did 2 weeks ago. And now the wine that you're drinking is going to show up on the scale next weekend or the weekend after, because you're going to think you can do it and drink even more. It will catch up with you. Same with your business. Whether you do Teamsy or have some kind of system, or your BAT, or whatever your system is, you guys know what you're supposed to be doing. When you don't do it for a couple weeks, it will catch up with your business. It will affect your Success Club points. If you had a time in November, December, January where you're like, it's the holiday and it's this and excuse after excuse, and you're not inviting, it's showing up in your business this last 3 months. It's coming around each quarter. So just keep that in mind. And when you're in that planting season and nothing's happening, you do have to be faithful that it will come. When you are pushing play every day and you are working on your fitness and you are diving into your nutrition, it will come. It does show up. I see the pictures from 60, 90-day challenges from tons of challengers. It does come, even though it just seems so hard in the beginning when you're not seeing anything. So the harvest season is not going to last forever. It's just a season, just like every other season. When people are doing really well in their business, we want it to stay. Of course, we don't want it to go away. We want it to keep on going, but it's not. Like, you have to prepare for that harvest coming to an end. Maybe you had such a good planting and protection season, and this harvest was great. You maybe advanced in rank. Maybe you increased your income. Maybe you added new coaches. Maybe they're adding new coaches. Everything is going right, and it comes in a flood and it stops just as quickly, because the harvest does not go on forever. So we then have to stop and always recognize what season we are in. This can be more complicated than it sounds, because we are in different seasons with different things in our life. We are in different seasons with things going on with our own fitness journeys. We are in a different season with our business. We are a different season with our job. We are a different season with our family. So in your head, even thinking about this, I'm like, oh, it's such a great, simple concept, but it's deeper than that. It's a lot to think about and a lot to take in. And it's important, so important though, to recognize where you are in the process. So that was the first thing I wanted to talk about. I know there was Blaine and Summer were both at Dynasty this weekend. Do you guys want to say anything about the seasons at all, or anything that stood out to you, or anything at all before I move on? No, Blaine, you don't want to talk? Get out of town, girl. All right. Okay, the next thing, and I'm only planning on keeping you guys for 30 minutes, so another 10 minutes. Okay, the next thing that we talked a lot about that I really loved was having accountability and self-discipline, the ideas of self-discipline. And this is something that stood out to me because I have lacked self-discipline in a lot of areas in my life, really for the last year. And I see it in my business. I see it in my weight and my fitness level. I see it in my family. I see it everywhere. And this was a smack in the butt for me. I know this stood out to a couple other girls because we were talking about it in the Dynasty group, but accountability and the idea of keeping yourself on a short leash keeps you self-disciplined. So what does that mean? We live in a culture of undisciplined people. They have a lack of respect for themselves and others. We have a lot of self-hate in our society where they can never be good enough. I literally drank out of my mug this morning that says comparison is the thief of joy. We have a community of people that don't care for themselves. That's the best way I can say it. If you're going to be, she said, if you're going to be a champion and a leader, which everyone on this call is called to be that, then you have to be self-disciplined. You have to produce self-love for yourself. And that starts with self-discipline, a very short leash, and having people hold you accountable. So asking everyone on the call to be my friend on Facebook if you are not already, and to help keep me accountable. That's what the Dani group is for. But I need to sit down and make a list of things that I am going to focus on, and I encourage you guys to do the same, that is going to help your self-discipline. And I'm going to talk a little more about it. But self-discipline is a direct deposit into the confidence bank. Are you pulling or are you depositing into that account? I am guilty of pulling from that account. I think I was so self-disciplined. Let's say I've been coaching for 3 years. I would say I was, so self-disciplined that first year in many, many areas of my life. And then it got a little more slack. And now it's gotten a lot more slack. And as I've given myself that longer leash, and too many freedoms and less accountability from other people, I had this buildup in this account. So it's lasting me, but it's running out. The confidence bank is running out because I am pulling from it, and there's not going to be anything left. And I don't want to be a 98%er filled with that self-hate. Like, I don't want to be that person. I've worked so hard not to be, but we all go through different seasons of our lives like this. So I'm going to give myself grace and get back to the discipline that I know I need to have. This comes to one of the things that I highlighted to apply to my own life is, we were talking about this and someone from the audience asked about, setting goals for yourself, because by having self-discipline, you have to set some goals for yourself. And someone said, well, I'm just a mother. What goals am I supposed to set for myself? Well, and everyone's like, but it's eye-opening. Dani said, if you have no personal goals as a mother, then you have no vision as a mother. Wow. Yeah. I need to have some goals as a mother, because I have visions of what I want my family to look like. I have visions of what I want my relationship with my kids to be. So I need to sit down and make some goals as a mother of things that I want to happen and the disciplines that I need to stick to week after week to ensure that those happen. So more back to this self-discipline. This is just one page. There was a whole nother day where she went more into this, but she was talking about how, and Blaine or Summer, if you have anything that you want to share, please do. So self-discipline, like working out, eating right. She got into this phase, Dani did with her husband, where they were drinking too much wine, eating too much bread, making too many fast food stops. That self-discipline was gone. And that's what I've done. I've got like more and more slack. And you'll do the same thing with your business, where it's like, oh, I did my bat today. I did my Teamsy today. And then all of a sudden it slips. It's like, oh, I only did half of it. I only did a little bit of it. Like, without any self-discipline and that short leash, you are not going to be a successful 2%er. You are not going to be a champion that you are called to be. And we get so slack and we use so many excuses. And she had an amazing pump you up speech. Like, we are here to choose excellence. We are in charge of what we do. No one is putting it on us. We are in charge if we push play. We are in charge about meal prepping. We are in charge about doing our bat and inviting. We are in charge of all of those things. You are in charge of you. We judge our team more harshly than we judge ourselves. We judge, she's not doing her bat. She's not hitting Success Club. She's not following a program. She's not checking into the challenge groups. But we don't judge ourselves as harshly as we should. We need to give ourselves grace. Yes, I realize that's one thing. I understand that I'm not promoting self-hatred when you mess up, but I am asking you to be real with yourselves. And are you doing the things that you need to be doing? Are you holding yourself accountable? Because when you start to hold yourself accountable to a certain level, you will attract those people. There's a little, I have little Post-its on my desk, but this is one, and I'll read it to you, but it's right here in front of me at all times. And it says, become the right person. Be who you are designed to be, and you will attract that. We all are looking for people like us. There was amazing women that I met at this. We did a lot of group exercises. This was an amazing girl that I met working face-to-face with, and she was describing her personality, and we all knew each other's gems. It was on our name tags, and she was a Ruby, and she exuded Ruby. She was a Ruby for sure. And I remember watching her and being like, how do I find more of her to be on my team? You could tell she was such a go-getter, and like, just, if she was there, she was investing herself. And then I had to take a step back and be like, Kimberly, you're doing the same thing. How do you attract more of you? You keep doing what you're doing. You keep showing that on Facebook, but people have to know what you're doing. They have to know that you're investing in yourself. They have to know that you're pushing play. They have to know that you're meal prepping. They have to know that you have a busy life and you're still building a business. They have to know that you're paying off debt. They have to know what's important, that you have goals and visions as a mother. We have to show that to people because other people want that. They just need an example to follow. So the very last thing I'll leave you with, unless anyone wants to ask any questions or share anything at all, I'd love it, is probably my favorite quote out of the whole weekend and topic was, stop trying. Stop trying and start doing. Take try out of your vocabulary. I will be sharing this with my team. Maybe I'll do a call right now, right after, and while it's fresh on my mind, but I don't want to hear it anymore. And I'm going to have to start to call challengers out too. I'm going to call myself out. It's going to be a self-discipline that I will not say, I'll try to eat more, drink more water, and I'll try to meal prep on Sunday, and I'll try to push play, however many times a week is my goal. Stop saying try and start doing. Saying you're trying is a lie. Try is a lie. That's the biggest takeaway of the weekend for me. Try is a lie. I'm going to put it everywhere. I'm going to tell my kids. I'm going to tell everyone I meet about it. That's what I'm going to say if I hear it come out of their mouth. Instead of saying try, say I'm going to give it my best. Life and death is power of the tongue. If you're going to try, that's exactly what you're going to do. Try is a lie. It's a lie in your head. You know you're full of crap, and you're not really going to do it. Stop saying, I'm going to try to invite people. I'm going to try to read PD. I'm going to try to do this and do that and try to post more on Facebook. I'm going to try to do this as a mother. I'm going to try to read more books to my kids. I'm going to try to make more field trips. No, I'm going to do my best because this is my goal. I am going to do my best to drink 100 ounces of water today because that is my goal. Try is no longer in my vocabulary. I will increase my sales, not I'll try to increase my sales. I will invite more people. No, I'm going to do my best to invite more people. And we did a whole exercise on it, and it was very powerful, and it was my biggest takeaway. So, but I would love Summer and Blaine if they had like one thing. I know we have lots and lots of takeaways, but if there's one thing that's been on your mind since we got back, or something that she shared that you really loved, I would love to hear what you have to say.
Well, for me, my brain still feels pretty fried. It's overwhelming, and I'm at work, so I don't actually have my notes with me. But my husband and I, it was really funny. We sat down last night after traveling back, and she made me laugh because we will say, hey, we want to unwind, and unwind might say sit on the couch and watch some sort of mindless television. And she's like, is that really in line with your priorities? Like, is that really what you want to do? And so we unwound by sitting on the couch last night going through our notes and talking about the weekend. But that the point of a big takeaway that I would share that I think will benefit you guys as much as it does me, as talking about our business. And she was talking about the art of promoting your business. And we get caught up in our heads with trying to think up a new Facebook post or we're like, oh, the same people have heard the same thing and they've seen me post my sweaty selfie and they've seen me say about my journey and they've seen me say that I lost 20 pounds or whatever. And so you try to come up with a new way to say it. But that's wrong. That's how amateurs do business. And that was a gut check for me too. Oh, I'm not saying I do that right. No, that was wrong. I was wrong. If you want to be a professional, then you should be speaking every time you speak, whether you're on social media, whether you're in public, where you're at the grocery store, you should be speaking like you were speaking to them for the very first time. So talk about, like, they don't know any of your background. They don't know your story. They don't know what you're doing. And because the chances are maybe they saw it before. Okay. Like maybe someone on your Facebook page saw it before. Then they know you're being consistent and they know that you're actually doing it. But chances are they didn't see it because they just scrolled through it. Or when they saw it, they didn't read it. They didn't actually take it in. And if you're adding to your friends list and you're growing your market, then there should be brand new people all the time. And that's who you're talking to. So never overthink it and get bored with trying to recreate the wheel of some new catchy post or some new way to say it. 1 year, 6 years, whatever, follow the recipe of brand new every time. Just keep putting it out there. And I thought that was great, directly related to business. I felt a little assaulted at the end of the weekend because I need to grow in so many ways, but that was really good. So that's my takeaway.
Yeah, that was great. And I we all can do better on that, obviously. But yeah, I try to look at it as a commercial. Like, yes, I've said this the same a million times for 3 years, and like I just posted about 21 Day Fix. But people are just seeing it for the first time, like that don't even know what 21 Day Fix is, especially if you're doing your job as far as adding new people. So always talking to the, people that have never heard of Dani Johnson, like not acting like, sometimes we start talking about like war on debt and you do this, I do this. You're talking to you guys. I'm talking to you guys on Facebook. Like, what war on debt is, what a challenge group is, that it works, what Shakeology is, rather than talking to someone that has no idea what you're talking about at all. So that was a great takeaway. Summer, do you want to share anything? No. Come on.
Yeah. I should, because I'm actually sharing with my team tomorrow. I just have to go through my notes. I don't know. I think along what you talked about is following is being held accountable. Like, I have zero excuse to not be successful in this business. I have no kids. I don't work outside the home. And I do crap with my idle time, which is, watch TV or have the TV on or have stupid music on. And I don't always follow the bad. I don't add people to my Facebook. And I always say I'm not good at social media. I don't know how to do social media. I've never done it. I'm not someone who posts regularly. I am consistently inconsistent. So I think talking about being present in groups, being present with challengers. I've not yet run a challenge group because I am so afraid to do it. And I've been a coach for over a year, not an active one, but it's got to be present. And I think, as you said, take that darn word try out of the vocabulary and do that exercise with the fingers. I mean, it was so powerful. I have to go through my notes because they're all scattered, but I don't know. My thoughts are kind of jumbled. So just so much. I can't wait for the next one, though. That's for sure.
Great. I think, I hope you hear, I hope you hear what you're saying, though. I know that you have every intention of turning it around, but when you guys hear people on your team say, I'm not good at social media. I'm not doing this. I'm not good at that. That's life and death and power of the tongue. That's negativity. When they're saying that, they are planting negative seed, and what will come from it is a negative harvest. Nothing will come from it. So instead of saying I'm not good at something, let's say I'm going to give it my best to post once a day on social media. Like, I'm going to get better at social media. I'm going to learn about social media because all the tools are there. We have amazing teams. We have special groups like the Dani group. It's all for the taking. It's just recognizing what season you're in. So Summer, you have a lot of preparation and planning to do in that season, and that's okay. You're not stuck in that season forever, and you have to acknowledge the sprouts that start to come up when you do a post and people like and people comment on it, and people are starting to see it and take action. Those are all the sprouts that we need to recognize. So anyways, it was an amazing experience, guys. I definitely look forward to going to another dynasty again because, like I said, it far exceeded my expectations. I have amazing notes to go through from now and from forever. 98 percenters don't review their notes, so way to go, Blaine, reviewing them all the way. I took my notes on a full legal pad. In the first half of the legal pad, I ran out of paper the last day. Actually, I had to borrow paper, but the half of the legal pad was the last first steps, and then this last one was dynasty. So it's kind of fun having them together, so I can review them all together that way as well. But I appreciate you guys being on, and I hope it added some value to your day, and that we can go out and find out what season we're in and nurture it and get ready for our harvest. So thank you, Vanessa. All right, guys, have a wonderful day, wonderful week. I'll see you soon.